Why would I show that, do you think?
I think sometimes highlight packages can be hangers, like the goal of the year type stuff. That was just hard on the line, and the real gritty stuff that we like to stand by as a club.
Anything else?
Just like, I feel like so many big moments, like so many of those game was close. Like that one with CD kicked the goal, like just big moments, get momentum going your way.
It's nearly the best scramble contest I've ever seen. Ryan Griffin, who's one of the strongest, and these guys who have played against him can tell you more than me, but one of the strongest competitors in the comp for the last decade, and those two Bulls going together, and that's what changed the game for me, to be honest. Nothing comes of it, you don't get a stat, you don't get anything, and that's the player that Clay was.
I sort of grew up and probably played my career that sort of way. I wasn't the most talented or gifted player, but I was definitely one of the hardest working, and I always thought probably one of the most competitive in my own mind. I did not like getting beat, whether it was playing cards out on the field, didn't matter what I was doing, I just hated losing. So that's probably what held me in good stead. Yeah, blokes that I followed training-wise, Boydie and Crossy were unbelievable. Pico was the same. Whether it's used to jumping on your watt bike, doing your weights. If you ever got to watch those sort of boys do their weights, there's no around while they're doing weights. Like everything they did to a high standard, and so I just tagged onto them as much as possible and tried to learn as much as possible off them. And it's tough in your first couple of years. You're just getting used to it all, and you probably float through some things. You probably don't think some things are as important because you're that flexible and your body's feel good at 18, 19. But it's not just the training. It's not just your game performances. It's everything. It's turning up every day. It's doing the right thing in the physio room. It's doing the right thing on the touch floor. Like, every little bit counts. Once you do start to get a bit older and start to have a few injuries, then you start doing all your prehab and everything properly. And I think if you did it all before you got injured, things could be different. So the jump and land and stuff, if you've never had bad ankles, bad knees, and you sort of just float through it, yeah, probably just that. Just don't wait for something to happen to then try and fix it. Everything that the coaches get you to do, everything, your physios, it's all for a reason. They've seen people go through it before, seen how much it can help people, and it's not just for the sake of them having a job. You look at injuries and what they've done and what they've taken away from people. You look at Murph, 300 games, did his knee, missed a premiership. Like, I did 3, I got to come back, and don't know how, don't know why, but my body held up again and played 13 games there in our premiership year, and some of the best footy that I played, and I was ready to give it away nearly after 2. Just wasn't sure if it was going to hold up again, and then it happened again. And still, I think I had 1 year left on my contract, and I was just like, well, let's just wait and see what happens and see where I can go. And it held up, and then... Thanks, Dale. And then, yeah, then it was after the premiership, I think, after 2017 year, we were up in Mooloolaba. Probably have a little bit of a down year in 2017. Bevo put it on me, and probably had the best pre-season of my whole career that year. Went away with a point to prove and come back flying, and yeah, tweaked it again up in Mooloolaba, and it's meant to be 2-3 weeks and I'd be back in main training, and 7-8 months later I'd never done a main session again. And yeah, ended up having to pull the pin at 25 years old. It was one of the hardest days of my life. I remember coming off, Woody put his arm around me, and I was just in tears, and I just said, I'm done. It had been weighing on me for probably 3 or 4 months. I knew I was done a lot earlier. I kept trying to get through, but it just kept breaking down. And then when I finally did admit to myself and probably to the team that I couldn't go on anymore, it was a bit of weight off my shoulders. But me and Bevo, we sat there in tears for, no one could really say anything. Yeah, he had a big impact on my life.
What would you reckon out of your career has held you, now you've transferred into life post-footy, What have you taken out of footy the most that sort of held you in good stead, would you say?
Probably my work ethic. Like, there's no real fuss about anything that I do. Like, I'm not the fanciest and not the prettiest looking worker, I guess. But like, if you want something done, I'll get it done. And I don't mind hard work. Never have. I was steel fixing when I left here for 3.5 years. It's probably the worst job you can ever do. That's one piece of advice. Don't do that when you finish.
How's your confidence coming back from your second ACL back into the team?
It was weird. Fine, 100%. Every time I come back, I felt great. Like, my strength was off the charts. Like, I always smashed them. I think I come back after my first one after about 8 months. Same thing, second one pretty soon. But my strength in that was awesome. And I played the VFL games before it, and like, first game back, I'd have 30 and kick 2. Like, but just my training, I just always made sure I ticked all the boxes, and yeah, it was once if I could tick those and get ticked off, then it didn't really bother. Like, I didn't think about injuries when I went into a game. Once I got on the field, I just played footy. I didn't really think too much out there, but that was just the way I was.
What are some takeaways? What's some things we can take away from Clay, the person he is, the player he was, the teammate he was? What can we take away? Why do you reckon it's important that he came in today?
Like, talk about resilience, and not everything's going to be perfect. You're going to have ups and downs in your career. Not everything's going to go that way. So just, it's like heart on the line, courage stuff, I guess, comes to mind.
If I said to you, Darcy, you're going to play 55 games, but you're going to be a club legend, how is that possible? Because we always think about 100 games, 200 games, Brownlow. How can you be a 55 gamer and be a club legend? How?
Heart and soul.
Heart and soul, impact, personality, great teammate.
But just individually, try the most out of yourself you can. Like you said, hanging on to like good role models, the older boys that you know, if you take their habits, it'll take you far. And just in drills, being super competitive. Yeah, just try the most out of yourself.
Good. And in about 3 years' time, when you guys are 5 years, and the first years come in, what are they going to do to you? They're going to latch on to you. That's what we should try and hope to be. No doubt you did that for young players who came through. I know you did. And you're still doing it. Anything else?
Just ticking all the boxes, making sure that you're doing all the little things well.
But enjoy it, like, enjoy it, have fun, have a laugh, because it's some of the best times, like, it really is.
Beautiful. Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I'll see you here all day. Get around here, check your hands.